And welcome once again, AllTakesValid, episode 45. As always, I go by Trill Trayy, joined once again with SP21 or Spence and Vick. With I'm not understanding
Why you
the
have
background,
him?
but I guess he's going to explain that. But to start off, though, why don't you go ahead and give a
Please.
rundown of today's episode?
All right, so with today's episode, we're gonna start on with wait a minute, what is going on around the NFL? I know that's not exactly what this meme is, but that's how I felt. Like this shit is crazy,
Ah,
right?
I
You
got
know,
to
it's
know.
just everything. Some things are happening left and right. It's like
Hey,
the
wait
show,
a
the
minute.
curtains finally open, and you know. But anyway, so we're gonna talk about the latest around the NFL, followed by our continuation of the worst to first. Um, we've talked about teams 1 through 8. Now we're doing teams in the draft from number 9 and 10 that will be selected in this upcoming NFL draft. Uh, with that being said, the second topic will be the Denver Broncos, and the 10th, well, the third topic will be the Dallas Cowboys, who are selecting 10th in the draft. We will be explaining what we think the team will need to do this offseason to get themselves competitive. Um, so, with that being said, latest around the NFL, Spence just pointed out one of the latest news. At the moment, this is we are doing this podcast on March 12th, 2021, and it is 7:12 p.m. Eastern time. So Spence, Cam Newton signs with the Patriots. You have any thoughts, uh, information about the contract?
It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's just Cam Newton. Yes, Superman is back in New England. I believe it's a 1 year, 14 million. Still a little better than last year.
Yep.
This is probably one is Belichick's safest move. He got a quarterback that already knows the system. He'll he'll just try to fix some hiccups, some dinks and like little dents here by picking up Trent Williams from the Raiders, help them line a little bit, give him more time to actually throw passes. Maybe with the run, maybe just to help it out. But he's most of the defense is coming back. So yeah, this is probably smart. This is the smartest thing. This is probably the best thing for Cam, sadly, because even if he said, you know what, I'm not doing it, he go anywhere else, they probably don't want him to start. They probably want him for backup. And Cam's mentality said, I'm not no backup quarterback. So yeah, I'm gonna stick here.
I was
Um,
happy, actually. I feel like this was this is gonna give him a fair shot. Not to
Yeah,
say, not to say that I guess he didn't have a fair shot last year, but it's a lot. It's a lot you got to factor in. No off season or no preseason, no OTAs, anything like that. No training camp, nothing like that. Of course, you got the COVID year, and on top of that, everybody who's been through the New England system has said how hard it is to figure out and learn that offense. You got to think about Chad Johnson when he went there. He couldn't even actually make it on the field. And that's not to say that he was trash or anything. It's just
being for the
there.
system.
It's the system is kind of complex in that. So I feel like this is going to give him a chance. Now they got their cap issues that they had last year kind of fixed up, to which they have some spending money this time. So hopefully you can go out there and put some pieces around Cam this year, and I think you're going to see a different result versus what we saw last year. Also, like Spence pointed out, half of their defense pretty much opted out last season. I think they had like they had the most in the league. I think 25
Yeah,
different players opted out due to COVID last year.
yeah.
So I think you add those guys back on defense. a few pieces here and there. Like you said, Trent Brown is back from the Raiders for a piece of bubble gum, a
Chewing gum.
fifth round pick after the Raiders made him the highest paid offensive lineman in the league. That was stupid, but that's typical Raiders stuff that they do. Doesn't matter who the coach is. It doesn't matter who the GM is. It seems like they just make decisions that have you scratching your head, like trading Khalil Mack. But whatever, that's the Raiders type of thing. So that was definitely a steal for the Patriots. Sure, they're not paying him much of anything. The Raiders probably paying him the majority of that salary that he probably had from guaranteed money from that deal that he just signed. What was that, last year? So you have that. Another person I probably will look at on the radar for them, Kyle Van Noy, as you know, was recently released by the Dolphins after they couldn't trade him after it first came out that he was being released. So I don't know how that happened. Like, I think it leaked early that he was being released. So obviously, if I'm a team, I'm not going to trade you for somebody who I know that you're just going to cut. I'm just going to wait for you to cut him, and I can sign him myself. So that kind of bit the Dolphins. That kind of backfired. You didn't get anything for him. We basically paid him little under $30 million for 1 year. Don't really understand that move, but it saved some money. So I guess whatever. But don't be surprised if you see him back in New England.
Of course.
Definitely need a receiver. But just to keep it on Cam, I like the re-signing. I think so. If Cam looks as bad as he looked last year, if they put some pieces around him, then I have no more excuses that I'll make for him or anything like that. It'll be time for him to either transition to being a backup or retire out of the league. But I have the confidence in Cam that if you put some pieces around him, you are going to see, maybe you're not going to see Superman Cam or MVP Cam Newton again, but I think it's going to look significantly different. And dare I say, maybe it's a little early. Let me see what kind of moves they make, but I could see him potentially being a 7th seed in the AFC, possibly. We'll see. We'll see how that goes, but I like the move.
Okay. With the trade with the early predictions. But
I say I gotta see, but go ahead.
Yeah. I honestly I wasn't too sure where else Cam Newton could have possibly went to. I mean, there was reports saying that potentially could have gone to the football team. I could have seen that happening. Other than that, I mean, it's really, really tough as to where else he could have potentially went to. So I mean, I was thinking that would be logically the best thing for Cam Newton to do, redeem himself. Plus, I don't know. I don't think that many players to say want to go to New England now compared to when Tom Brady was there. So it's good for him. Good move for him.
They don't like to pay anybody for the most part.
Yeah,
so you're not going there to get the bag, but like you said, with Brady not being there now, why am I taking a pay cut?
Yep, exactly. That's why you probably seen like the most recent Stephon Gilmore wanting more since Tom Brady left. Obviously, Bill ain't gonna play that, so probably expect at some point, for him to be traded. That's still something I'm looking out for. But I like the move. Honestly, I thought it was his only move, to be real. Hopefully, they can get him some weapons. We'll see who decides they want to come to England, whether it's free agency or otherwise. Safest bet. Not even then to say the safest bet, because we all know Bill doesn't have a good track record in drafting players, especially high. So, I mean.
Yeah, it's crazy. Great coach, not so good of a GM.
Bad driver.
The talent evaluator. I mean.
Well, he's good at finding, like, late
He's good at
round.
finding talent. Yeah, late rounds, but
Late
not early.
bloomers. Yeah.
I don't know how he can't. I don't know. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a whole lot into that because just like saying, for example, you have the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just since Trey, you're wearing a Steelers jersey, y'all always seem to find good receivers. I think that's part of your scouting team for the receivers or whatever
Right.
that how that goes, however that breakdown goes.
If I could say
That
with
plays
New
a big
England,
part.
then, based on that notion, I'd say they do pretty good at offensive line for the most part. They
And
tend to find
defense.
those, maybe even D line, but it's like
Yeah.
skill positions they suck at drafting.
Yeah, honestly, I can say defensively they do good. They do a good job at drafting. I can't say in so much in terms of the secondary, but defense they typically do a good job. Offensively, that's not so much their suit, especially when it comes to receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, tight ends they've hit gold on a few of those, but hasn't been like that recently since Gronk and Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, yeah, yeah. Usually early rounds, he's not so good at drafting, whether it's him or just the whole team evaluation. In terms of what they look for. But obviously, when you have scouts and your head coach and your GM, they all typically have a common feel or eye for talent. So something, is probably not just right when it comes to the early prospects. But then again, you got to think about it too. It's more common for the Patriots, but a lot of teams, whether you look at first or second rounders, they typically don't pan out so well compared to other teams later rounds. Those typically are the ones that are usually in the Hall of Fame, whether they're undrafted or a late round pick, to say mid to late round pick. So, if you just look up the statistic on that, that's
You know what I
I
think
don't.
that kind of is though, and correct me if you think I'm wrong, but
Yeah.
so we're gonna take Zach Wilson for example, BYU kid, right? He
Yeah.
now granted he had like a crazy year this year, but if you look at the totality of the time he's been there, like he's kind of been somebody you've never really heard much about, right? But
Yeah.
because his stock is so high this year, he's gonna go ahead of other people who maybe let's say it's a solid 4-year starter who if they would have came out their junior year would have been the top recruit, but because they came back for their senior year and that season was still decent but not as
How that freshman year.
as high as the year before.
Yeah. Right, because they have more tape on you.
Like the more, it seems like the more tape they have on you, the more they break you down, and that's sometimes not always the case for me. So
great.
I think I take a solid 4-year starter over somebody with just one amazing season.
Right, because you don't know if they can flop.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I think that happens a lot. Because I
think
there's going to be some later round QBs that go after Zach Wilson who end up probably having a better NFL career than him.
Like, remember Chris Ponder?
Yeah.
Yeah, Christian Ponder. Didn't Dwayne Haskins have that 1 year, and then he got drafted, and then there was I don't know about Mark Sanchez. I think Mark Sanchez had 2 seasons. But there's definitely been plenty of quarterbacks that's had 1 year, a great year.
Now, Joe Burrow was a kind of like an outlier. Like that was because you just could tell that he was the real deal. But it's not always like that. Some people get caught up in the hype off. Even receivers, Devontae Smith, right? Great senior year, right? He just had a great year. Obviously, he just won the Heisman. But you got to think he's been there. He wasn't doing any of that when Waddle was healthy and when Jerry Jeudy was there. Now, maybe that's to say he didn't have all the opportunities. I don't know, but I'm just saying like Jamar Chase. Had Jamar Chase came out last year, he would have been the top receiver. But because he came back, now Smith had this crazy year. People are more high on Smith. Not to say that Smith's a bad receiver, but I think overall Jamar Chase is a better all-around receiver.
All right.
So I think that happens a lot with the draft.
But on to obviously the most latest news. From what I've seen, Patrick Mahomes just restructured his contract, which it converted. They converted the 21.7 mil roster bonus to his signing bonus, so that saves 17 mil in cap space. Before that, it was the GOAT, Tom Brady. He restructured his contract, which saved the Buccaneers $19 million. A little bit over, but $19 million a 4-year extension. So that's why, for the most part, I have the background that I have, because it's like, wait a minute, what the hell is going on right now? Like, it's crazy. It's just, everybody's trying to find ways. And obviously earlier than that, KC cut both their previously starting left tackle and right tackle, Fisher.
That
and
was crazy.
Yeah, that was unexpected. But honestly, I'm not even, if it was like last year, it'd be more so of a big head scratcher. But this year, there's so many players available, with teams trying to create cap space and whatnot, that,
Eric
one
Fisher's
phone
probably
call.
one of the top tackles in the whole league, though. So
That's a big thing
I
right
can
there.
understand maybe the other one if you want to save some money, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe have him restructure, but you're just gonna cut him. Somebody definitely could
yeah.
use that boy.
But the only thing is, though, at the same time, is like I told y'all last time when we were talking about the Chiefs. I think it was after the Buccaneers won, and I was telling y'all that, hey, look, um, Fisher, I'm pretty sure he tore his Achilles. So
Yeah, it's a big injury.
that's a year injury, and the fact that it happened in late January, actually probably almost late January, he's not going to be back until next, potentially, I would probably say, based on how it typically goes, I'd probably say he wouldn't be back until probably divisional round, maybe
Right.
conference championship, if not the Super Bowl at the very latest. So that's really a lost season in itself. He's 31, if I remember correctly. So that's tough.
Yeah.
So it makes sense in terms of why they did it, but at the same time, it's just like, dang, like both your left and right tackles, that's crazy. But I get it, that also saves the money as well. But obviously Patrick Mahomes restructuring of his contract definitely helps out the Chiefs in possibly making some moves, which again, like I said, teams are cutting players left and right. Like even the Giants, they just cut Kevin Zettler. He was the best lineman that the Giants had last season. Arguably, you could probably say that. It might not even be an argument in that, but that saves them 14.5 mil off their cap. So again, that's a player that the Chiefs, if they wanted to invest into that, and like I told y'all last time, it's going to be the year of 1-year deals because obviously this year with the cap being down 8% compared to the previous year, that doesn't help any team at all, unless you're like the Jaguars and teams like that have
out here with money.
Yeah. So
the Dolphins are up.
yeah.
So it's a couple teams that got some money to spend. They just licking their chops like.
Yeah.
And they really don't have to spend a lot of that money because even though they got money, because like you said, how the way the market is set up now, because other teams don't have that much money, they can offer a little bit more than what a team with not a lot of money is offering. and basically get a bunch of people versus having to go ahead and cash out the big money that they normally would in free agency.
Yep. Also, seeing Minnesota release their left tackle Riley, which saves them 11.7 mil. Baltimore re-signed. Well, they didn't re-sign. They restructured and re-signed. They re-signed offensive linebacker Pernell McPhee, and they restructured Marcus Peters' contract, aka Juice, to save 3.5 mil in cap.
The Juice I know is, well, I know two. It's Jarvis Landry and my boy Deontay Johnson. I ain't never heard that, but whatever. Continue.
Chargers, they released offensive guard Trayy Turner.
The Saints released Janoris Jenkins.
Yeah, Janoris Jenkins.
Yep, 7 mil.
They're planning on
they definitely got to release a lot of people. They got to get.
Yeah, they're planning on releasing Quan Alexander, which he was injured late in the year. I think that would probably save them. I think it was 13.5 mil if I remember what I read. It's either 13 or 14.5 mil. So that'll definitely help them out, even though they're still
they got a long ways to go.
Cap hill. So I mean, it's a start, I guess. Bills linebacker resigned with the Bills, Matt Milano, to a 4-year extension,
which I thought he was on, but
I thought he was going to be gone too. What else did I get? Right tackle Williams. Who is that for? Oh, the Buffalo Bills. They signed him to a 3-year extension for 14 mil guaranteed, $28.2 million contract, but again, 14 mil guaranteed. Arizona re-signed Robert Alford, a cornerback, and the Houston Texans signed former Green Bay Packer linebacker Christian Kirksey.
That's not the only person they signed, though.
Oh yeah, that's just a few things that I got. What else did you get?
The Houston Texans reached an agreement, a 1-year deal for $3 million with former Baltimore Raven, Big Trust, woo woo.
Yeah. Which I don't understand that. I do not understand that
here
at
it
all.
is.
The hate.
Trey.
No,
that is why the kid's there. That's why the kid's there.
I don't understand why Mark Ingram would go there though. Like, I don't know. I just feel like everybody
why not?
No, I mean it's not even, why not go to the Buffalo Bills or something like that? Like, I don't know. I feel like Houston, like, just with all the turmoil that they have been dealing with former players, even current players.
About to go play with D-Wop.
I mean, you seen that press conference today with that boy, that head coach Cully, contradicting himself on an early podcast.
Hey, you might have just said it though. That might have something to do with it. Him knowing Cully might just have.
I mean, that's his former coach.
Yeah. He's like, he's gonna give me the ball. He's gonna give me the ball.
Yeah, honestly, they ain't got no running back over there.
They don't like to throw, so with that coach, they don't like to pass. So
he knows he's gonna get the ball. He knows he's getting the ball. Oh yeah, and don't forget, guys.
Didn't they restructure David Johnson too?
Oh yeah, that's right.
They restructured David Johnson and cut my boy Duke. So
yeah.
I like him to be able to start over David Johnson. To me,
I don't know. I mean, I like him in a complimentary role. I don't know if he's going to be a starter, but I mean, it definitely gives him insurance too, especially if David Johnson gets injured, because
that's likely. Yes.
Yeah, it's likely.
At this point in his career,
last year he had a relatively healthy season, from what I recall. Obviously, the previous 2 years before that, it wasn't so healthy, but He definitely bounced back. So I mean, give him another year. Well, we'll see. We'll see. But
Okay.
uh,
He
other
will.
than that, do y'all have any other
That's what I was
thoughts?
checking up now. I know the Titans
Falcons.
released Kenny Vaccaro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh,
Yeah.
cornerback Emmanuel Mosley signed a 2-year extension with the 49ers.
Saints also released Emmanuel Sanders.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Bills
Cross-eyed stuff.
released John Brown, aka Smoke, since
Yeah,
since we giving out nicknames, right? Uh,
you're right.
he already stated that he would like to play for either Pittsburgh or Indianapolis.
I don't understand why he would go to Pittsburgh, but Indianapolis sounds like a good one.
At first, I said the same thing. I said I didn't want him, but low key, that might be the move because it gives us something that even if we had the money to keep Juju, it's an element to the offense we don't got. He's somebody who could
Mm.
take the top off the defense. We don't have that right
I
now.
think I think Indy would be the perfect spot for him if he's trying. Well, you know.
Do you trust Carson Wentz though? I trust
Yes.
him more than I trust Carson
Do
Wentz.
you?
I don't know if I trust him over Ben Roethlisberger.
That's what I just said. I think I'd rather go to.
I don't know because they're both. I don't know. I don't know.
The issue with Ben
Um,
though, you got to think. People are talking about the deep ball. He had the arm to throw it. He was just overthrowing
yeah,
receivers. John
yeah.
Brown, I don't know if you can overthrow him.
I think that's just because of the the offensive line. I mean his injury with his what was his elbow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean just like you seen with I wouldn't say Drew Brees had an elbow issue, but we don't know exactly what was wrong with him. But he was definitely not himself. I mean, just for
It
the
was it
quarterback
was
and
his
the
thumb.
fact that it's his
It was his
throwing
thumb.
arm.
Well, he had
Oh
a bunch
well,
of injuries. He had his
Yeah.
ribs was
yeah, that's why.
broken. His thumb was
Yeah,
Thumb.
collapsed lung.
yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah. He was a
uh,
whole different person.
that's tough. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, honestly, I feel like Carson is going to be better. He's in a better situation, better offensive line, way better offensive line. Um, but at the same time, you know, Carson Wentz does have that label on him as a injury prone uh,
Yeah.
player.
This is his first.
So
That was his first year out of what, four, playing a full
yeah,
season. So,
so yeah,
Mhm.
and
it's gonna be tough.
that's why the contract for the trade is incentivized the way it is. He has to play a certain amount of games for it to become, from a third to a second, because he
Yeah.
is likely, based on his history, to get hurt at some point.
Hmm.
So, but I guess that's that. I think we pretty much got everything. Go ahead.
Also, don't forget Atlanta Falcons re-signed kicker Young Ho Koo.
Oh yeah, that's how
Yeah,
another kicker
make
got re-signed.
America
Well,
great.
actually,
Make America great again, please. My old lady be tripping, but my young Hoku. Yeah, but
Yeah.
outside of that, I guess
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
we're off to Mile High in Denver.
Ugh.
The
Salute.
Denver Broncos, who kind of let me down last year. They were my sleeper
Sleeper.
team for the AFC. So
Yeah.
we'll get into that. So yeah, I guess with that being said, we can go on to the next topic.
Yep.